Yeah. Okay, we're up to Kuf Ches Amid Aleph. Today we're finally getting to the Seder. Right, we're going to discuss Seder tonight. We're going to discuss a little bit of Arbakaisis. So we spent a lot of time on Kiddush. We spent a lot of time on Avdallah, and now we're going to spend time on sliding on Pesach. So we're up to 4 lines from the top, 5 lines from the top. Rav Sheshes have a Yosef Hanisa. Rav Sheshes was sitting in a tinus. Kol Maliyum with the Pischa. You know, as Erev Pesach, he would Tyson Springs. He would watch himself not eat the whole day, not just misamech lemincha like everyone else, and we pass in mincha katana, samech mincha katana, but he would go the whole day. So the Gemara wants to go ahead and figure out if he's not eating the whole day, he must hold the following. Neima kasava Rav Sheshes. Let's say Rav Sheshes is of the opinion samech lemincha gedola tanan, as we had the Shaila, that it was samech lemincha gedola. And the purpose of refraining is that what you may go ahead and not bring the Korban Pesach because you might be involved in Yasuda. Now, Rav Sheshes certainly lived well after Korban Bayis. He was an Amoira. So Tosis and Rashban both say that since he held that way because that was in Issa was at the time of the Bayis, that was the Issa. So he, his name of Kasavar, he's keeping in line with what the common Zman was at the time of the Beis Hamikdash. So let's say, why would he hold the whole day? How do you figure if it's mincha gedayla and shem pischa? Dilma mamshich v'yasin lemnuye mil nevet pischa. Who b'savel ki had amra b'ishya amra b'laza machsha hoye ben b'seira pesach sheshachtu shachris bar b'asel l'shmai. Then b'seira permitted. Again, we all know that the Korban Pesach was brought after Bein Abayim, after the Talmud in the afternoon, but he held that it was kosher the whole day, even in the morning. And Zman Umitzaf is Zman Pischu. In the morning is the Zman of the Pesach. Now, what does he do about Bein Abayim? The Kuli Yuma Chazir LePischa. The whole day you can bring the Korban Pesach. The Savar Bein Abayim means Bein Erev the Etmal the Erev the Idna. Means from one evening to the other evening, and therefore, as soon as in the morning comes where it's mutta to bring a Korban, you will be able to bring a Korban. So, name of Kasava. Let's just get it straight. When Rav Sheshes is going ahead and not eating, it must be why, because he holds that if you would eat, you may come to not bring the Korban Pesach. But 1 second, I thought you can't bring the Korban Pesach. I just let me finish. Again, that maybe he's not. The Havamina is that the reason he's not eating because the Zman of Beis Hamikdash, that was the time that you could bring the Korban Pesach. So to ensure that you're going to bring the Korban Pesach instead of getting involved in Yisuda, you couldn't eat. So that's the svara why he would go ahead and the whole day, which is a chiddush because we hold the Korban Pesach only brought the Bein Abayim of that day itself, and they learn Bein Abayim may erev one evening to the other evening. In that span, bring the Korban Pesach.
It didn't mean that you're going to bring the Korban Pesach, and since you're eating, you're going to eat the Korban Pesach too.
No. As we said yesterday, as the Gemara says, you'll get involved in your Suda and you won't bring the Korban Pesach at all. Yes, man. You had a.
Yeah.
Okay, good. If you answer it, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Gemara shiny Rav Sheshes. Amrlei shiny Rav Sheshes. Rav Sheshes is different. No, in other words, he held like we held, guys. He held like we held. That really the Korban Pesach is Bisman Mincha Gedayla, right? And therefore, Samech Mincha Gedayla is nothing to do with Mincha Gedayla. The reason why you don't eat is because of matzah. The reason why you don't eat is because of matzah. You see matzah with the oven. But shiny Rav Sheshes, the Istinahave, he was a very meticulous person. He had a very, very his constitution, his constitution was very delicate. The time but midi, if you would eat anything in the morning, he wouldn't enjoy this food. So in other words, it has nothing to do with Zman. He held that, okay, matzah. But he didn't. But again, Istinus here means he was like, in particular, it was difficult for him that if we eat anything, it would stare him. So therefore, he didn't eat. But don't go ahead and extrapolate this sophisticated mitzias of maybe he held that you can bring the Korban Pesach the whole day. That would be very difficult.
Isn't he a warranty?
Erev Shabbos, where he has to be extravagant meal after you're supposed to have a conference.
Parts unknown.
I'm wondering where you're going.
No, I'm saying so.
Extravagant meal means lechem. It means lechem. We said yesterday, Shalom Kagan asked the very good guys, I blew this by you yesterday very quickly. Shalom Kagan asked the kasha. He asked the great kasha. It said that you can't eat from Samach L'Mincha Katana. So from 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you can't eat. Says the Gemara, but mini targima you could eat. What is mini targima? Basa and Paris. So what does it mean you can't eat then? It must mean you can't eat lechem, right? That's what it says. You can't eat lechem. You can't eat lechem anyway. It's Pesach. What else could you eat? You can't eat matzah because you have to eat matzah in the evening. So I told you that's matzah ashira, egg matzah. The whole halacha that we stated in our Mishnah that you shouldn't eat means you shouldn't eat egg matzah. You don't think of it that way. That's the only possible thing you can eat because you can't be to the chiyuv of matzah. It's not lechem, it's not chometz, and it's not it's not what? It's not meat, and it's not fish or Paris, which you could eat. So therefore, the only thing it could be is matzah shira, which again I threw that out yesterday. I don't think I spent enough time in it. You got that, Shalom? You got that when I said it to you? Yeah.
You could eat knedlach also.
Again, I don't know. You keep on saying that. I'm not sure.
Because you can't be yaitz with knedlach.
I'm not sure. But again, we're going weiter. We're going weiter. Yeah.
Somebody needs knedlach.
Right. What?
Somebody needs knedlach.
Yeah. Okay. Now the Mishnah said, "Vafilu ani shebi Yisrael lo yochel ad sheyesev." Even an ani be Yisrael, even what? Even an ani be Yisrael should not eat ad sheyesev until he goes to Edwan, and we said why? That's derech eres. It's a derech eres. You might think we said earlier that for an ani it's not derech eres. He doesn't have his own couch to lie down upon. Kamash Malon. The chiddush is that the ani could go ahead and lie down. Now, so what's the holding of a seba, guys? What's the holding of a seba? A seba is a din of cheres. It's a din of cheres. A seba is a din of cheres that a person should go ahead this night. We're going free. Pesach is not a commemoration. Goyim commemorate. We go ahead and we live. I once heard like this. Most people view time as, well, this happened over here. You're over here, now you're over here, and now you're over here, right? It just keeps on going along. So you're getting away from it. There's another way to view it. This is you, this is Tesvav Nisan. And here's you, and this stays this way, and you come back to it every year. You're coming back to that time. You're coming back to it. We're not commemorating it, we're reliving it. So if you're reliving it, we have to do everything in our power to go ahead, and relive it. And that's pshat, and that is pshat. In the Haggadah, you view the Haggadah; it's a different Haggadah that way. So there's a din of a seba ad kedei kach. I'm going to show you halacha. To me, I thought it was bezukis, but guess what? It's all because of cheres. It's all because of cheres. Let's see. Itma matzah tzarich a seba. To eat matzah, you need a seba. Now, be aware. It's a big machlokes later on. What's the chiyuv of matzah? You think right away it's mitzi matzah. That's only according to Tosfos. According to the Rashbam and according to Rashi, it's Daf Yomi. So when it says matzah tzarich haseba, guys, so again, right away, automatically you're saying it's mitzi matzah, right? That's only according to Tosfos. According to the Rashbam and according to Rashi, it's Daf Yomi. But the chalapachas, you need a seba. Mara ain't tzarich haseba. Mara does not require a seba. My chabus was medayik this morning. Ain't tzarich haseba, meaning it doesn't require it, but if you want to, you could. And then achinami, the halacha is if you want to, you could. You can, guys, if you want to do a save my mother, you don't have to, but if you want to, you could. Now,
You're not supposed to because the more is the house and
that's why you're not ain't sorech. You do not need it, but rishoy, you have permission to. Yeah. Again, this is the halacha. I'm just quoting you the halacha, right? Let's just go again. I just said words. Let's learn a little bit. Okay, let's learn a little bit now. So you have matzah. So the question is what if matzah needs a seba now? So now yayin. What about yayin? Says the Gemara. Itma mishmeid Rav Nachman tzarich haseba. Itma mishmeid Rav Nachman ain't tzarich haseba. V'loi pligi ha bitarti kasi kamoi ha bitarti kasi basroi. Right. One is for the two is what one is speaking about the first two and the last two. So amalei imila lahagisa. In other words, one says it goes to one extreme, one goes to the other extreme. Imila lahagisa trei kisa kama boya seba. The first two require seba. The hashtahu decome maschol lecheres. This is when cheres begins. Avodim ayinu, guys, right? Avodim ayinu, make where we living. This is the beginning of the geula. So therefore, we go ahead and show another avodim. We lie down. Trei kasi basroi lebaya seba. Of course, why? Might have a havi. It wasn't ready. The geula wasn't ready. By the time you get to the last two cups, one is benching and one is halal, you already had the geula. So the cheres took place, and when the cheres is taking place, that's when we do a seba. The imila lahaiki. So others say no. 3 and 4 require a seba. Adarabba, trei kosa basroi by a seba. Why? He shaited to have a cheres. That's the time we were free already. Trei kasi kamal by a seba. The kati avodim a yunukama. We still avodim. Now listen to this. Hashma de itma hachi vitma hachi. Idividi by a seba. Now that you say what? Like this, and now you see, you don't know which way to go. That they both need a seba. Okay, so let's stop a second. Let's look at matzah. What's this din of matzah? That matzah needs a seba. Now, toisvis is mesupik. What happens, right? What happens if you don't do a seba? Look at toisvis kula. Dir masel kula, guys. Kula nami tzricha seba. The chol dalad kaisis tzrichim a seba. Now, all 4 kaisis require a seba. B'shash shtia when you drink. B'tzarich ian. In shakach v'lei hesiv, if you go ahead and you forget and you don't do a seba, im yachsa v'yishte, if you have to go back and drink. V'chein im kois shlishi lo yehesiv im yachal achsa v'lishtois b'seba, afagav d'bein shlishi levi lo yishte. So he's mesupik. For who adin, fellas, he's mesupik by matzah. For who adin is mesupik by matzah. Let's say you went ahead and you ate a kazayas matzah and you didn't have a seba. Do you have to go back? The Rosh is not Mesupik. The Rosh says you have to go back.
How do you know he's Mesupik on matzah as well?
Again, Kula is saying, Allah, why would he make a chilik between one that requires a seba and sedin and chayres? What would the difference between matzah and the daled kaisis? Maish, what would the difference be?
One's a deraisa to eat it, and therefore eating in any manner might suffice, and the other is about geula itself.
That's what I would think. That's what I would think, that once the raisa, matzah is the raisa. Now, if matzah is the raisa, so the chachamim, by requiring a seba, can't possibly mess it up, right? By saying you're not yaitza, whereas the daled kaisis are dirabanan. However, Yankel, you're gonna have to hold on a lot this evening, right? Make sure 9 o'clock at 8:30. Says the Gemara like this. He says, "Kol mishet sarach a seba, anything that requires a seba." I'm reading the Mechab in Tough Ayin Base, guys. Kol mishet sarach a seba. Im achol or shasa, if you eat, Moshe, if you eat, you're eating what? Shasa, or you drink below a seba, lo yatsa, you're not yatsa. So you see clearly it's going on what? On matzah as well, because it says what? Achol, lo yatsa, v'tzarech lachsa lecha v'lishtois beseba. You need to go back, it says Mechaber, and eat and drink beseba. That's Lashon Mechaber. Hagah, the Ramah, v'yesh oimrim, the bisman hazeh, the ein derech lahasev. Bisman hazeh, it's not normal to do a seba. Kedaihu Raviyah b'smachalav. The Raviyah says you don't have to do a seba. Shebediyevid yotze b'lei a seba. You be yotze b'diyevid below a seba. That's the Hagah. Venerally, the Ramah continues. Im loy shasa koishlishi or revi'i b'seba ein lachsav lishas b'seba. The third and fourth is you don't have to go back. The yesh b'chashash shenira k'moisav ala kaisis, as we said yesterday, it appears if you're moisav on the kaisis, aval b'shtei kaisis v'shaynos, right? We said yesterday it's migragore, right? Therefore, what yachse v'yishte b'lei bracha v'chein be'achilas matzah. So too, what by achilas matzah that you should go back and eat the kazayis, right? Without a bracha, Miu b'afi kaimin im shakach lachol b'seba lo yachse v'yachlena. The aslachol shnei pam afi kaimin. You can't eat afi kaimin twice. So again, so the halacha is that you do need a seba, and if you don't have a seba, you should go back. According to Ramah, eat it again without a bracha. Now, Moshe's point is well taken. L'chayra, the mitzvah is to eat matzah. Haseba is a din d'rabbanan acherus. You see a fascinating halacha over here, that when the Mechachamim, they went ahead and they were metakin the way something should be done, even if it's the Raisa Dikadin. If you don't do it that way, you're not Yaitza. You're not Yaitza. Again, I'll give you an example. is Kiddush deraisa? Kiddush is Zichar deraisa. Socher es Yom Shabbos l'Kadshay is deraisa. Good, it's deraisa. Kiddush is deraisa. Yeah. Now, what happens? So what? You declare it Shabbos, correct? Can you get up and say any lashon you want to say it's Shabbos, or do you have to go ahead and Asher Kiddushanim is Dosav it's Sivanu, right? We have they will metak in a way to say it, and that's the way. And if you don't say it that way, you're not Yitzhak Kiddush. So in other words, there is a mitzvah, and the Chachamim gave you the way to go ahead and be Yitzhak that mitzvah. And if you don't do it that way, you're not Yitzhak. It's an unbelievable. To me, it's a huge Kiddush. That's Moshe's bothered by that as well. Why would you need to say, but matzah is deraisa? Just because, and the answer is, the Chachamim decided that to eat matzah, the way to eat matzah is only this way. And if you don't do it that way, you're not going to be Yitzhak. Lechatchila. Again, it says the lashon of the Ramah. V'chein b'achilas matzah ulechatchila Yosef kol hasuda lechatchila. You should try to do haseba the whole suda. Now, haseba is very interesting. How you do haseba? The haseba, people think it's with the body. It's not with the body, guys. It's with the head. I have this. My son was a Talmud Rav Belsky. This is the way you perform a seba, and it'll make it a lot easier upon you. This is a seba. Take your elbow, put it on the table, lean your like this with your head, and that's a seba. Not this, certainly not on your back like this, right? It's uncomfortable, right? This is a little more comfortable than usual, and really this is the seba. This is a Belsi is a seba. Hand like this to the left, and you drink like this. Right? Yeah, yes, Abrami. 1 second, our food expert wants to chime in. Yes. Yeah.
Same way you do that every day.
Oh, you.
Yeah. On Zoom.
We don't know.
Okay, anyway, Avrami tried to make a joke. Tell him to stick to his menu. Now, so it's again. So this is a seba. The fokoisis need a seba, and matzah needs a seba. The whole meal you could eat a seba. It says the Ramah you should try to do it if it's uncomfortable. Certainly, it's not ma'akiv. There's no the mitzvah. You'll be yoytz to the mitzvah of Shulchan Aruch of eating without even. What? There's a shaila whether you have to do a save by kairach. I think because of the mara in it, but I'm not sure. I think you do a save. No, you don't have to repeat it. It doesn't say. Doesn't. I don't think so. I don't see.
Some say that's the
Yeah.
says that so how are you allowed to eat before that?
What? Taisus doesn't say that.
According to Rashi.
We'll kuf your test. We'll get there. Bez Hashem. I just mentioned it tonight as we'll get to it.
But you're definitely not allowed
We'll
to
get to it. We'll get to it. Okay, now. Prakton loishmei seba. If you're lying on your back, that's not considered a seba, right? Hasavas yamin, lying inclining to your right, loishma seba. That's not considered a seba. V'loyoid elashema yakdim kon leveshet. Maybe the trachea will come before the esophagus. Maybe the windpipe will go ahead if you're on the right side, right? Now Rashi learns prakton. This din of Shemi Yakim Kon Leveshet, guys, is going on Prakton. Rashi learns, look, when you're back, the covering of the windpipe goes up. So therefore you're worried it's going to go in. That's the way Rashi learns. But the Rashbam and others learn this way. And the nafkamina would be if in other words, if it's going on Prakton on your back, then a lefty would be able to go ahead and lean to his right. In other words, what is this din of maybe the windpipe will go before the food pipe? What are you worried about? You're worried about the covering coming up. According to Rashi, that it's going on prakton, and if you're not doing prakton, if you're just leaning, then again, why would you have to go to the right? Maybe you can go to the left. Now it says over here that you go to your right. And they bring them from Farish because most people who are right-handed, if you're going to go like this, you won't be able to do it. So the nafkamina between the two pshatim, according to the Rashbam, whether the Shemi Yagim Kan Leveshet, if I go this way, I'm worried about maybe it's sakana, or if I go this way, maybe I can't use my right hand. The nafkamina will be for a lefty. If it's al sakana, there's no difference between right and left because again, in everyone inside, everyone internally is the same. If it's usage, then a lefty should be able to do like this because he wants to use his left hand. We paskin that a lefty also should lean to his left. Even though he's left-handed, he should lean to his left. Isha etzel baila, a woman by her husband, loy boy a seba. She does not have to do a seba because amos baila leha, according to Rashbam. Then isha chashuva, if she's a chashuva woman, he tzricha seba. Then she needs a seba. We'll get back to this soon. Ben etzel aviv. What about a son to a father? Boy a seba. They need a seba. Boy lahu Talmud etzel rabbi. My. What's the din about what? About a Talmud by a Rebbe. Toshma, Abai ki avina be mar, Abai when he was in the yeshiva of the house of Rabbah, Zaginan abirche dadadi. All the Talmidim, they would lie on each other's knee. So you see, obviously they held that one in front of the Rebbe. They still did a seba. However, ki asina lebei Rabbi Yosef, when he came to the yeshiva of Rabbi Yosef, Amalon, Rabbi Yosef told us, like tzrichisu, you don't have to do a seba, because Moira Rabcha Kamar Shemayim. In fact, not only don't you have to do a save in front of your Rebbe, it's also to do a save in front of your Rebbe. Because Moira Shemayim, Moira Rabcha is Kamar Shemayim. In front of the Bnei Shalom, you are not doing a save. In front of the Bnei Shalom, you are not doing a save. So it's brought down la halacha about a son. Ben etzel aviv, a woman. Let's say a woman. Isha ein etzricha seba elim kein hi cheshuva. That's the Machaba. The Ramah, Haggah, the Chol Anoshim Shalom Mikrei Cheshuvos. All why? Because none of them, they're not scared of us. And it's all the Nashim they considered Cheshuvos. Achlei no Hagul Hasiv. They're not knowing to do a seba women. Ki samchu al divrei Raviyah dichsiv the bisman hazeh ain't sarach lahasiv. Again, that's the Rava comes up many times. Bisman hazeh ain't sarach lahasiv. But if a woman wants to go ahead and do a seba, bisman hazeh they consider it's nothing stopping her. Nothing stopping her. Bene Soloviv. What about if the father is the Rebbe not? What happens if the father is the Rebbe? The father then the father's Michael, and the kid can go ahead and do a seba. Okay. Shamish Mai. What's the din of a Shamish? Iboilahu. Shamish Mai. I skipped. Mesivei. Imakol Adam Mesiv. With every person you do a seba. Vafilu Talmud Eitzel Rabel. Even a student by the master. So you see that what you do a seba. We don't say Moira Shemayim Kamar Alechem. Moira Rabcha Kamar Shemayim. And for Gemara Kitanya, he is Shule Dinagre. We're speaking here about an apprentice. Let's say a carpenter, right? So Talmud Eitzel Rabbi doesn't mean Torah. It means what? By a carpenter, but an apprentice. Then in that case you could do a seba. Mashen came with a Rebbe, not. Iboilu Shamish Mai. What about a Shamish? Toshma Adam Rabbi Shimon Levi. A Shamish she'achol kazayas matzah kishu mesiv yatza mesiv in loy mesiv loy. Shmamina boy a seba that the Shamish requires a seba. That a Shamish would require a seba. We had all these gemaras before about these people being Shamish, right? All these great Amoroyim, Rav Yeva Saba, Rav Chanana, they will be Mishamish. So obviously, I'm assuming that they did a seva. Now, this is a very good kasha, guys. He's telling me a Talmud by a Rebbe, right? Huh? Yeah, a Talmud by a Rebbe. What? Can't do a seva, right? Right. Maisa. There was a Maisa. It's what? Rav Elazar Messiah, Rav Yeshua, Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Akiva, Shayis Mesubim and Brei Brak. Good. Mesubim, you assume they're all Mesubim, right? What was the relationship between Rabbi Eliezer ben Hukinis and Rabbi Akiva? This is Talmud. Rabbi Eliezer was the Rebbe. Rabbi Yeshua ben Chani was his Rebbe. So they're telling me that you can't do a seba. 1 second. You see that you see he did. You see he did. So,
but it was his home turf, no?
What? So
it was Rabbi Akiva's home turf.
Where does it say that that's a heta? It's a good Jeopardy fact, but where does it say it's a heta?
I thought that's why.
It doesn't. It says Talmud Eitzel Rabbi that Moira Rabbi Kamar Shemayim, and it's also to do a seba. So how was Rabbi Akiva able to do a seba? That's the question.
We said by Rabbi Eliezer Demila, they passed like Rabbi Eliezer in his place, even though they didn't pass like him and anywhere else, because it was his home turf. He was the Rav in his place. So that's
again, that's a fact you're telling me, but it has nothing to do with the fact that a Talmud in front of his Rebbe cannot do a seba.
Okay.
I mean, you're right. His home turf is that's a Chinami. The halacha is like him in that place, but it doesn't take away from the fact that he was Rabbi Akiva's Rebbe, right? Because he was his Rebbe. So I heard a teretz. I'm not. It's possible that at some point in time where a Talmud gets up and grows, he gets to be the level of a Talmud Chava. The Gemara has, that's not German, it doesn't mean Chava. It means a Talmud Chava, it means that he's more of a contemporary. He's more of a contemporary. So Rabbi Akiva had a level, at some point, he grew in such outstanding Torah scholarship that he achieved that level. Maybe it was at that time where that might have happened. The Bikash is better than the Teretz.
You just where I just learned. It's not that way. The Rabbi came to Bar and
Well, Rabbi was his Rebbe, and that Abaye of a Rabbi, that's the first opinion. We're going contra Rabbi Yosef. We pass like Rabbi Yosef. The Mechaber pass like Rabbi Yosef, not like Rabbi. Yeah.
The same way he's not saying Shulchan before he moved out. Once he moved on, he's not saying.
But I'm saying he didn't move on. They were together.
Say that.
No, you leave your Rebbe, come back. You're still my Rebbe. I moved to America. I came back. The person was still my Rebbe. He's still my Rebbe, even he's dead for many years. He's still my Rebbe. Yes. You know, like this. You're gonna buy in the auction. It's gonna cost you $1,000. You know, like this. You know, like you can move it. Oh, okay. So it's going right. Shmamino that Shamish needs a saber. Shmamino. Let me show you Levi. Nashim chayavis ba'arba kaisis. Now we're going to Seba, we're going to Arba kaisis, right? So Nashim chayavis ba'arba kaisis. Women are chayiv in Arba kaisis. Women are chayiv in 4 kaisis. Halalu. Sha'af heim hoya ba'osanes. The women they were ba'osanes. Says the Rashbam. Sha'af hoya ba'osanes. It's not that pshat they were af heim hoya ba'osanes. They were the nest. They were. The Amar Masech the Saita, B'schar Nashim Tzidkaniyos Shahoya Ba'isa Hadar, in the schar of the Nashim Tzidkaniyos that were in that generation, Nigalu, they were Nigalu, meaning in schus of the women we got out. V'chein 2 other places, Gabe Mikra Megillah, Amahachi, that the Mechuyev Megillah Sha'afim Hoya Ba'isa Mishum Dal Yidei Esther Have, V'chein Gabe Chanukah Masech the Shabbos. Loshem Areinu Alevi. It's Loshem Areinu Alevi. By Chanukah, the Yehudis cut off the head of the governor, right? And halal pornis and what? So Rashbam is learning not Avhim Hoya B'Sanes. They were the nest. The Ikanes was women. Says the second Taisvis. Hoya B'Sanes. Pirish Rashbam. Shal Yodam Nigalu. B'Chem B'Megillah Al Yidei Yester B'Chanukah Al Yidei Yehudis. The Kasha. The Af Mashma She'ina Yikah. Guys, let's listen. Even the women were part of the nest, meaning the nest was by the men, and even women. Even does not mean, it's not mashma that they were the ikar. They even women, just like men, but even women. So Fred Taisis, the af is problematic. And for the Rishami Gorish, Afim Hoya Bois is suffix about being killed, mashma. Bois is akona de lahashmi laharugel abe. The Hodamina Beturas Misuka, okay. So it's mashma that Taisus disagrees, and he says they were part of the nest, but not that they were the nest. But the top Taisus is very interesting. Now, even though it's the Rabbanon, Afagav the Arba Kaisus Rabbanon came the Raisa Tikkun. There's a good insight to know. Without the svara of Afhim Hoyaboisa Hanes, you'd say women will be potter from the Arba Kaisis. Why? Because they're potter in every mitzvah seshay shazman grama. Any essay that's contingent upon time. Arba Kaisis is the Rabbanon. So how can you say that it's the mitzvah's essay? It's not a mitzvah's essay. It's the Rabbanon. But we say kol the tikkun Rabbanon ain't the Raisa tikkun. When the Rabbanon made a din, they fit it into the same format with the same halakas avad of the Raisa. And since the Torah of mitzvah sheshes grama exists by a woman, if not the svar of Afim Hoyabosanes, they would be potter. So in the good places to know. Rav Yehuda, I'm a Shmuel. Arba kaises alalu. These 4 kaises. Sarach sheyehebahem kidei mezigas kais yafa. You have to have enough that you could dilute a kais yafa. Now, their wine was very, very powerful. and the wine was diluted 3 parts to 1, 3 parts water to 1 part wine. So every revius of wine, the emes was a revius of a revius, guys. It was 3/4 water, 1/4 wine. It was 3/4 water, 1/4 wine. So everyone was like that. So you needed that every cup should be 3 to 1, 3 parts to 1, 1/4 wine and 3 parts water. Shas and chai, let's say you would drink a revius of pure wine. Yatsa, you be yatsa. So 2 dinim so far. That in every case has to have a 1/4. If you drink it, chaya yatsa. A 3rd din, shasa bebas achas yatsa. We'll see in a second what that means. And hishka mehen lebanav l'nei beisa. If you give to drink to your children from your kais, u'bnei beisa, as long as they can drink a revius, yatsa. Okay, those are the 4 statements. Now let's go over each one now. Shasa chay yatsa, amarava, yedei yayin yatsa. If you drink it chay yatsa yedei yayin, meaning simchas yontif. Ain't simcha ella biyayin. Guys, ain't simcha ella biyayin. Right? So therefore you would be yatsa simchas yontif, but yedei cheres la yatsa. You wouldn't be yatsa yedei cheres. Because again, you don't drink this and it's too powerful to be drunk in that way. So therefore, you're not yotza. You're not yotza. Shosim b'vas achas. Now, what is b'vas achas? Let's see. Rashbam, there's Rashbam over here who brings in Rashi's pshat and his own pshat. Rashbam b'vas achas, where it gets wide about 5 lines down. Ira arba'asam b'toich kois echad. You took all 4, you poured it into 1 cup, so you have 4 reviuses pashtus in 1 cup. Kach pirush Rabbeinu Shloima. That's what Rashi explains. So vasachas meaning, yeah, you're not going to go 4 and 1. Says the Rashbam below here, it's not correct. Guys, did you ever check how much you have in your kais? Did you ever measure it? Did you ever measure? Did none of you ever measure your kais?
You had a very tiny cup.
Did you ever measure your kais? Do you know how much you have to drink for the Arba kaises? What? Okay, so do you know? Give me 1 sheet. 3-3. Good. Ramosha's sheet is 3-3. Okay, that's for the Arba kaises. 3-3. Reb Chaim Noah is 2-9. Chazanish is, I think, 5-2. But I'm saying, Moshe, do you know what's the Chazanish?
The size of a Maimach Reinim cup.
Okay. Anyway, I checked my cut. Aryeh bought me Aryeh's not here. Aryeh bought me a present. Don't tell him this. I remember there used to be silver something. It's the bakery next to the bakery. It's the liquor store now. There used to be a silver store there. So Aryeh bought me a silver tray. I had one already. So I asked him, "Can I trade it?" Yeah. I went to the store and I got a kais. I think it was 8.7 fluid ounces. So I was wondering why after the 2nd cup I was gone. I never made it anyway. It was. I mean, I had almost 3 shiurim. I almost had a Ramosha Shita. So what I did was I have a cup. I measured it. It was 3.5, and that's the one I use. I use it the whole year, and I kasher it. And the women who are mechuyev in Arba kaises who can't drink wine, you go to Pirate Treasures. Yeah, you get a little. Mamish, you can get 3.3 little tiny cup. You'll see. And there'll be yaitz in the mitzvah without any. Every cup you have, you could, of course. Again, I'm trying to help you out. Of course, you could. Now, if you use a big kais, then you have to drink rave kais, which is more than a revius. If you get a big kais, you have to drink rave kais. You get 8.7. I'm drinking 4.3. I mean 4.35, 4.36. What?
Yeah, Rabbi, the first kais has to be more, no?
Als Kiddush. The first kais has to be more. The first as Kiddush. But now, that's only by Shabbos. Yehuda. So now, Vas Achas. So Rashi's first pshat is you pour it all in one. V'loy nehira that feel shaisa harbe b'kli echad like chashav ela kais echad, says the Rashbam. The high revius ain't elo lemeute pachas revius. Avot fei revius b'kais echad chashav kais echad. No matter how again that cup, that 8.7 is 1 cup, despite the fact that water had so much in there. So therefore, that would not be like Rashi. V'nir release, says Rashbam, dochi pirushay. V'vas achas Shloyala Seder Mishnasenu. What's the Seder, guys? The first one is Kiddush. The second one is Magid. The third one is Birchas Hamazon, and the fourth one is Halal. One more time, guys. The first one is Kiddush. The second one is Magid. The third one is Birchas Hamazon, and the fourth one is Halal. That's the Seder. We drink it at those interludes. So what you know what Vasachas means? 1, 2, 3, 4. But they're 4 separate kaises. 4 separate kaises. El Shasim Ritzufin. You're drinking them Ritzufin. You're drinking them one after the other. So now let's go back. So case number 1 was drinking it chai. We said it's not derech cheirus. You would be yaitza simchas yantiv, but you wouldn't be yaitza cheirus. Right? It's a fascinating thing that liquid in this cup. The reason why you're drinking the 4 kaises is cheirus. The full shyness. The person drinking the cup of wine, it's like a seba. The chachamim made we should relive Mitzrayim, and it's derech cheirus is to drink wine. But you drink it in a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4, and not diluted. That it should have come to it, not a powerful cup of wine. Second, in Shasim Basachas, again, according to Rashi, 1 large cup with 4 revius in it. According to Rashbam, 1 after the other. Ravama Yedei Yayin Yaitza. Again, you'll be Yaitza Simchas Yantif. Yedei Arba Koisis La Yatza. You won't be Yaitza Arba Koisis. The first one, you drank 4 guy. You drank 4 undiluted wines in the correct intervals, right? Intervals. You had 1 by Kiddush, 1 by Magid, 1 by Birchas Hamazon, and 1 by Halal. You just drank undiluted wine, right? You drank cow. I think my kids drink port. Port's very. I think it's like close. How much? 18%.
20%. 20.
20%. You answered that quite quickly. You know that. Anyway, so anyway, so the
Drinking Malaga, all your cases is not equal to one another.
it's like diabetes in a cup. Anyway, but I'm saying, but you understand that so you're drinking very powerful wine, but if you're drinking the right intervals, you're yaitza. Good. Yeah, but you won't be yaitza the cheirus because it's not a cheirus tikadin. Next in vasachas, you wouldn't even be yaitza the abrikaisis because you didn't drink it in the right seder. Right now, hishka mehen lebanavel b'nei beisai yatza. You'll be yaitza. You know what that means? My 8.7 cup, guys, and I give it to 3 of my kids. They're all yaitza, even though I made it, and it's not a pshat to paigim the kais because it started off since it was good for me. Guys, you hear this chiddush. Let's say you have 1 cup of wine and you have a bunch of revius in it. You can drink it and give it to your kids, and each one drinks. They'll be yaitza the chiyuv. It's paigim for them. It's not paigim for them because since it was lechatchila cup for me, it works. It's chen halacha. Amar Rav Nachman by Yitzchak, who the ishti ruba the kasa. You have to drink roiv the kais. You have to drink roiv kais. Okay, you have to drink roiv kais. Now the havamina over here that mzigas kais yafa and roiv revius is not the same share. It's not the same share. That's the havamina. So Fredrik Marakasha, Meisivei, yes, Makasha. The other kaises alolu sarch sheyehebehem. You need that. They should be they revius echad chai ve'echad mazug. Whether it's a revius means it has to be a full revius, whether it's chai, whether it's mazug, echad chadash ve'echad yoshin. So in other words, meaning you need not a quarter of a quarter, you need a full revius. Right? Rabbi Yehuda, I met sarchei by tam umari yayin. It has to have the appearance and the taste of wine. Funny mias, they revius. That amit kois yafa. Now kois yafa, guys, is a quarter of revius. You're telling me right a quarter revius. So Amri Idvi Chachur, it's the same share. My Kedei Mezigas Kasyafa, you know what it means to Kamar? L'chol chad v'chad, ta'avi l'hu kul revius. Meaning, I need a full revius of undiluted wine so I can dilute it 4 times in 4 different cups. It's a quarter, right? So you take the quarter, you divide it into 4, and then you put in 3/4 of water, so it's the same amount. Okay. Rabbi Yehuda Imet Sarchei Batam Umara. It has to have the tam of wine and the mara and the appearance of wine. I'm a Rav. My time with Rabbi Yehuda. What do you need? Red wine. Dechsiv al teira yayin. Al teira yayin. Do not look at wine. Ki is adem because it's red, right? So now the Indian of red wine is I think it's
not kasha this pasuk to anything about abrikosos.
Al teira yayin ki is adam. Just you're proving that this pasuk that it's red. Ki is adam. We want to pasuk mishlei that it's red. That's all we're proving, that it's red, that the color of wine is red. That's what we're trying.
So what? We have white wine also. I'm saying, but just because we have this pasuk.
Okay, no, right wine that in other words, you should use red wine by the Seder, provided the white wine is not meshubach better than that. But who the shita is, you should use red wine, and there's an allusion from in the pasuk of al teiri yayin ki is adam, because why? Because it's adam, because it's red. So there's two inyanim of red wine. Usually, red wine is because again it's what's the lashon of? Let me see his lashon. The lashon mechabe in Tufayim Beis Sifkat Yud Beis Yotzin B'Yayin mitzvah lachser achi yiralef mitzvah lachser achi yayin odum. It's a mitzvah to go after red wine. Parentheses Ramah im ein halavan mishubach mimenu. If the lavan is not better than it, but it's an inyan of going after what after red wine. Says Mishnah Bura dechsiv al teiri yayin kiyas adam alma the admimus ma'ila b'chashivas that you're looking after wine because it's red. That draws you. The chashivas of the wine is the color. If wine connoisseurs, right, Avram, you're going to look at the color of the wine. You pour the wine, you say, look at the color. It's something. He's a wine guy. So you look at the wine. That it's zeichel adam that they would go ahead and shech the Yiddish kinder. And the place where this lashon of Mishnah Bura, in the places where you find goyim that they would find the false alilas dam, the blood libels, they used to go ahead and hold back from drinking red wine. They would hold back. For Avke Shaleach Yayin Lavan says the Dershu, Basa Goin Rav Shmuel Vosna, Arvenu im Ktsas Yayin Adam. Put a little red wine in, Kedei Hadima, in order to make it red. Meidach Dasa Goin Rav Chaim Kanievsky is Shalavan Eina Makabel Bekach Milo Yayin Edom Kimishim Tevay Eina Kach. It's not Teva to Makabel red. Omnam Yitachin Shayoyel and Yitim by Yayin Edom Kishir Meziga. If you put in the three parts to one. Okay, that's later on. Okay, so I again, so this is another din of wine is the hiddur of wine is the following: red, not mavushal. But why? Because if it's a zeichel dam shebishla, you couldn't put on the mizbeach. You couldn't put dam that was cooked on the mizbeach. So there are people, if you ever buy the Kedem wine, the 750 bottles are not mavushal, 750 milliliter. The 1.5s, the 750 are mavushal, and the 1.5 is not mavushal. But within the grape juice, if you drink grape juice, the plastic is mavushal. The bottle is not mavushal.
Only the big bottles.
The 1.5 bottle is 1.5 is not mavushal. So if you mach it on wine, red is a good akpada. And that it should not be cooked is a good akpada. If you're not makbid on it, then it's very easy to be yotze the mitzvah. You can go ahead, drink. There's Jovin. There's so many ways you can be yotze. You know, it's like there's Jewish soda out there.
Hey, Rabbi, but the fact
and then there's if you want to be yotze the mitzvah but not enjoy it, there's Concord Kal.
Oh, is that terrible?
the fact that the wine has sugar in it doesn't take away.
What?
You can't bring sugar on the mizbeach either.
I don't know. Again, I think that it's a mitzvah min amufah to use Concord or Malaga.
It's a little juggy is on top.
And again, if you want to be machmir goma, go get back a bottle of Shapiro's.
What was the other one?
Shapiro's. It's so thick you can cut it with a knife. Lifshit, right? Lifshit. So that seems to be the best thing. Let's see a little weiter. Okay, I guess we can stop over here. Makes a little sense. Okay.
Thank you.